Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to take a look at the Type 38 Arisaka bolt action rifle. This is a brand new sniper added with the Turning Tides DLC, and DICE has actually balanced it in a very interesting way. I wasn't really sure what the stats were going to be like when I played it in CTE. The damage model, or rather the sweet spot indicator, seemed like it was very similar to the SMLE. However, looking at the stats now, it's quite different and offers a very interesting and unique playstyle. First things first though, we have to unlock the weapon. The assignment is relatively straightforward but might seem challenging for some. The first part is that you have to get 25 counter sniping kills, so you have to kill 25 other snipers. And the second step is to get 3 multi-kills. Now multi-kill is only 2 kills basically simultaneously. And you might be thinking, oh, do I have to snipe 2 people at the exact same time? No, you can just throw a grenade and get 2 kills with a grenade. You can put down a tripwire bomb, get 2 kills with the tripwire bomb. Hell, you can even jump into a field cannon and blow up a tank and get 2 kills that way. If you run with K bullets and you get the last shot on a vehicle, which ends up killing 2 people, that's a multi-kill. Plenty of ways to do this. I had 2 of these multi-kills before I even looked up what the assignment was. And then the last multi-kill I ended up getting was some tripwire bombs. Wasn't too difficult. If you want to do the assignment on the new maps, if you're playing on Achibaba, people get funneled in pretty easily on that map. So as soon as you see a big cluster of guys, chuck your grenades in there. Any infantry heavy map, or preferably an operations game mode where there's a lot of players on the front line getting funneled into choke points, that should be a perfect area to try and get your multi-grenade kill or multi-tripwire kill. At the moment, there's only one variant of the Type 38, and you cannot mount a scope on the sniper rifle. So getting headshots at range is going to be entirely dependent on your ability to snipe with iron sights. It's difficult. I'm not particularly good with iron sight snipers. That being said, this weapon isn't really designed to be used at further ranges. It's got a decent rate of fire of 57 rounds per minute and actually a good muzzle velocity of 770 meters per second. However, the sweet spot for this weapon starts at 30 meters away and ends at about 63 meters. That's where you're getting 100 damage per shot. So remember, you have to hit them in the torso at this range. If you hit them in the arm, even if it looks like you're about to hit them in the torso, that will reduce the damage output. So as long as you can get a solid torso shot at that distance, you'll get a one-shot kill. It makes it one of the most aggressive bolt-action snipers in the game. If you like to play the aggressive recon, you might absolutely love this bolt-action rifle. The sweet spot is very similar to the Martini Henry. At least it starts at the same distance as the Martini Henry, although the Martini Henry goes up to the much higher damage model, and the sweet spot lasts a little bit longer. This one only has about a 33-meter window, where the Martini Henry has a 50-meter window, making it much more forgiving. The upside though is that this has a very fast muzzle velocity, which means you're actually going to probably hit a lot more of your shots than you would with the Martini Henry, which is most effective at stationary targets. Leading your shot with the Martini Henry is an absolute nightmare. You can get used to it and people can get very good with that weapon, but this one is going to be easier to land your shots, and you have a 57 round per minute rate of fire instead of the Martini Henry's 24 round per minute rate of fire. So you're shooting very, very fast by comparison. It's a good aggressive recon weapon. Sure, missing the sweet spot kills isn't that great, and the fact that you have to aim with iron sights means that hitting center mass is going to be a bit less common. So even if you are at the perfect sweet spot range, you might not get a sweet spot hit every single time. That being said, combining its aggressive sweet spot distance with the fast rate of fire and muzzle velocity altogether makes this an enjoyable aggressive recon weapon. This is also a high skill sniper rifle. It's not going to be for your average sniper sitting in the back with a scope trying to pick off targets at really long range, sighting in enemies for a long time, tracking them. This is going to be a fast moving, fast firing weapon that you're going to need to hit your shots or you're dead with. I mean, that can be true for most weapons, but this one is going to be a bit less forgiving. And that's mostly due to the fact that you're going to be in close enough range to try and take advantage of the sweet spot that many of your opponents, once they become aware of you, are going to have weapons that are fully capable of killing you in a short period of time. So missing your shots, alerting the enemy to your location, you're not going to have long to live. So you better hit your shots, or you better have a good backup plan. The rifle also only carries 5 rounds, so once you start missing your shots, you really start to run out of damage potential. Fortunately, it's got one of those cool multi-tiered reload systems. If you shoot off all your rounds, you can just do a quick stripper clip reload, which is much faster. But if you still have some bullets left over in the rifle, you're going to start loading those rounds individually, which will take a little longer. But it's kind of interesting, and it might make you think twice about just shooting off your last round at a target and then going for the fast reload. Now, it is worth mentioning that one of the sniper rifles added in the Russian DLC, the most recent DLC before this one, the Vertili Vitali, actually has a much more aggressive sweet spot range than this rifle. So you might be thinking, why are you all gung-ho about this one when you really didn't like the Vertili Vitali? And that's because the Vertili actually had a 440 meter per second muzzle velocity, similar to the Martini Henry, making it hard to hit moving targets. And then on top of that, it also had a slower rate of fire and one less bullet per magazine. So altogether, the Vertili was just generally enough to make it less enjoyable of a weapon, and the sweet spot range I feel on this one is actually a little bit better suited. You don't want to be as close as 20 meters as you were with the Vertili to get that sweet spot kill range, because if you miss with your shot, then you're definitely dead. This one gives you a little bit more flexibility than it. I mean, I would still say the Martini Henry is still a great alternative to this weapon. You just have to really get used to that slow muzzle velocity of 440 meters per second. There's no question that the Martini Henry has the best sweet spot in the game, but you're paying for it with rate of fire and incredibly slow muzzle velocity. So this weapon is a lot easier to hit your target, and if you do miss your target, well, you can put another shot down range pretty darn quickly. Now, playing on St. Quentin Scar is an excellent place to test out just about any sniper rifle, as it gives you options of engagement distances. Do you want to play on the outskirts of the map and use a long-range sniper rifle to try and pick people off from really far away, or do you want to move into the city and get a bit more aggressive with your bolt action? I found that going into the city was far more enjoyable, and when I did move to the outskirts of the map, I felt like I was at a pretty big disadvantage because of the iron sight mechanics of this weapon. Going up against other snipers at further ranges, they were able to sight in on me much better with their scopes or their better sweet spot distances. So I just felt like I was at a huge disadvantage at those range when going up against snipers, or even medics for the most part. I wasn't at a huge advantage against. So the aggressive style with this weapon certainly drew me more towards the city, and I had much better success in the city. I was even able to take this weapon into maps like Amiens and be relatively successful. You're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe against an assault class in super close quarters, but if you're in the mood for an all-or-nothing type loadout, you can equip the Obrez as a sidearm, and if you miss your sweet spot kill with this weapon, switch to the sidearm and dispatch of those assault players in one shot in close quarters. Again, you gotta hit the torso and not hit the arm, but you know what? The Obrez is a very risk-reward weapon, and I find for the most part it's a bit more rewarding for me. So that can be a really fun combination to run with as well. If you're playing on the new Turning Tides maps, I would say that this is going to be absolutely awesome on Achibaba. But if you're playing on Cape Hel or Helles, then I think the longer engagement distances are going to put you at a little bit of a disadvantage with this weapon. Not saying it's not usable, I just found myself in a lot of situations where, again, longer range snipers were getting the better of me. So pick your maps wisely, use this weapon on the appropriate map, and I find myself doing that a lot with sniper rifles, as I won't stick with one primarily. I mean, the SMLE is such a versatile one that it's good on just about any map, but I'll switch to the Gewehr 98 for long range. I'm thinking this might be my more aggressive close range version, and then the SMLA when I just can't figure it out. But that's just something you want to keep in mind when picking your weapon, and I think a lot of players don't think about that quite as much. They just sort of pick their universal gun that they like for all situations and never switch it up. But you could actually have quite a bit more fun if you pick a weapon that's perfectly suited to the environment you're in. To wrap up this weapon review, I gotta say that the Type 38 is a fun to use bolt action rifle. It's not necessarily gonna redefine the characteristics of the aggressive recon, not in the way that the Martini Henry did, and even become a weapon that was considered quite overpowered at one point. But I think you'll surprise a lot of people in close quarters with the power of this weapon, and if you are a good enough scout player, you can definitely make very good use of this gun wiping out full squads. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.